Okay, hello, how are you doing? Welcome. So, GIFs, we're not getting into that. You know them, you love them. Did you realize that you could actually make them? You don't have to reuse somebody else's. And there are times, especially for your business, that you're going to want to maybe create your own, right? Make it special, make it stand out. We got you covered. We're going to talk about a couple of things about how you would use them in your business in case you're not already. You probably are. We're also going to talk about some easy, I'm going to show you actually, I'm going to demo some fast and easy ways for you to create them, free or very, very cheap. And then we're going to share some tips. So let's get this party started. Hello, hello. So, are you using Gifs today? You should be. We're going to give this another second here, see if this is going to refresh. We'll try this away. There we go. You probably are. You're certainly using them in your personal life, right? Everybody's using them in their personal life. They're a lot of fun. There's lots of ways to use them. They're very easy to find, right? I mean, they're built into places like Facebook and all that. But did you realize that you could actually create your own, and you could actually use them for your business as a way to explain things, to get attention, to promote yourself? There's lots and lots of options. But, you don't want more stress. I understand that. So I've got some really simple, easy ways to do them. Free for the most part. There's some extra benefits that you can get in some of the cases if you toss a little money at them, but not much, and you certainly don't have to. So let's get started. First of all, why are we even talking about this, right? Why the heck would you want an animated GIF or GIF? Not getting into the religious wars on that. I don't care how you pronounce it as long as you're using it. So, real quick examples, right? You can put it on your website just to jazz it up, right? Just to give it a little personality. But you can also put it on your website to explain things, to demo products, right? So you could take a product. Let me just take a product here. Right? Never without my water or my coffee. So let's say you sell these or you customize these, right? You could take a quick video with your phone or whatever device you want, to show off the product, right? I mean, maybe you have a turntable, or maybe you're just going to take it in your hand and show it and turn it and let people see it. Don't do it too fast. Do it slow. There's nothing to show really on this one. Then you could take that and turn it into a GIF. So instead of just having a static picture of your product, you could have something a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting. Maybe you could show them a little detail, right? Let me get that. There we go, right? You can show them that detail. You can show them the size of it, right? And then you could turn that into, now, yes, you could just put the video up, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But the benefit of the GIF, is that it's a smaller file. It loads faster for people, and you're going to make it short and fast and to the point, right? You're going to highlight a couple of features next to the description of it or on the product page or whatever. Maybe it's part of a series, right? You have some static pictures, and then you're going to put this in to give people a little bit more 3D feel for it, a little more detail. It's a great example of using it. You can also just put it on, like, let's say that you're, explaining to somebody how to put something together, which, of course, I don't have anything handy to put together. But if you have if you sell something and you ship it and it's got some minor assembly required, you could show them how easy it is to put it together in a short little video like that. You could do little demos, like, let's say you're selling these LED lights, right? And then you could actually go ahead and click and show the people, what it's doing and how the light changes and all that. Real quick, real easy, fun, eye-catching for your website. And you'll be surprised how well people respond to that kind of stuff, especially if it's something that gives them more information than they might have gotten otherwise about the product or service. It communicates better to a lot of people. A lot of times it will actually help people spend the time to go ahead and read whatever it is that you've got on your website about the product, right? Or you can just do it for fun, right? You and your employees could be getting a little goofy and having some fun, do a little dance contest or whatever. Like, there's really absolutely no limit to what you can do other than your own imagination. And we all have pretty good combinations on that. Another thing that is a great use for these kinds of files is emails, right? We all know, like, we have great ideas for our emails. We have lots of things that we want to do in our emails. Email is still a problem, right? It says HTML, but it's not really HTML, and there's all kinds of limitations and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is a great way to kind of work around that, because most email will accept some form of an image. So you can get around the fact that maybe you can't embed a video into it, but you can embed a GIF that will give a little information on it. And I've got some tips for you on that, at the end of this, so you might want to stick around for that. But it's another great way, again, to make your content more interesting, more eye-catching. Maybe even you'll get to the point where like people are opening them because they're so excited to see what new thing you're going to, give them, which is a huge win when it comes to email, right? We want those open rates. That's an important thing. Social media. Social media is hands down the big place where you're going to want to use some sort of animation. Not for all of it, right? That's the whole thing with this. This is a bit of a seasoning. Hi, Lyle. It's a bit of a seasoning. It's just a little something that you want to add in. It's a little something that spices up your content, right? So you want to mix it in there. And, when people are scrolling through, anything you can do to make them stop for that second and check your thing out is key. So definitely animation is a good way to go there. By the way, and this is something that a lot of people don't think about, but they can really be great for your SEO because they drive clicks, they keep people engaged, they get shared, right? So if you're really smart about your branding on these kinds of things, you can definitely get your word out there, but it's also just a goodwill kind of thing to make these kinds of things available, to share them on your socials, on your website, and I've got another place that you can share them where even more people can find them. Be careful with the branding, we'll get there. But it's a great way to do that. They're handy just in general, for like breaking up long articles, to add, readability to content, that type of thing. So really what it comes down to is they're fun, they're eye-catching, people respond well to them, and instead of just using the ones that are out there, you can create your own. And that's what we're talking about. We want to be unique. You want to do something special, right? You don't want necessarily, sometimes it's fun to reshare that new GIF that everybody's sharing because it's funny, but you also want to be unique. You want your stuff to stand out, right? You want to do stuff that says, hey, this is me, this is my business, check us out. So this is a great way to do this. So just some real quick, just to get it out of the way, like some best practice kind of stuff. You want to keep the upload of the actual GIF size or time to like around 15 seconds. That's kind of the max, right? Most of them you're going to see out there are much less than that. You don't want it to be too short. So, 5 to 15 seconds is probably a good window to shoot for. You want to keep the upload file small, right? As small as possible without losing too much quality. You want to shoot for a resolution of at least 720p. Now, if you don't understand that, that's okay, because actually when I show you, most of these sites are going to take care of it for you. But if you understand what I'm saying, all the better. So you're going to want to keep an eye on the resolution if you can. You want to keep this, shoot for 720 at least. I knew letting the dog stay in here was a bad idea. But at the minimum, don't try not to go lower than 480p, just for readability. Keep in mind that it's going to show up on a lot of different screen sizes, right? Everything from monster-sized monitors to the little tiny devices we all carry in our pockets. So make sure that it works well on all of those. Keep an eye on the frame rate. Again, you don't really have to understand what frame rate is, but some of them do ask you if you want to set one. Most of the time you can stay with the default, which I'll show you. But you do want to keep it somewhere around 15 to 24 frames per second so that it's not too jumpy for people. And the file size thing can be helped by minimizing the number of frames in the GIF that you create. As you know, like even like movies, like, it's a series of frames that our brain, that goes a certain speed and our brain translates into motion. Same thing with this. If you can shoot for under 200 frames, that's good. Under 100 will keep your file size even better. Sound good? All right. For those of you, before we get into the demos here, for those of you who maybe need some help with this kind of stuff or would like to maybe get into more detail about it, you can reach out and let me know. Go to, here it is, yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there. You can let me know if you need more information. If you want help with this, I can certainly help you with this kind of thing. Also, it's a really good place to go. If you have a question, a comment, you can go to the form there and go ahead and pop that in there. If you have an idea for a show, if you have some topic you want me to cover, don't be shy. Go ahead and put it in there. All I ask is that if you need a fast answer, if you need a quick response, please let me know that in the comment that you send me and let me know how to get back in touch with you. Otherwise, I'm going to have to assume that it's just something you want me to cover in a future show. All right? Sounds good. All right, let's get into the demo. All right, this is the fun part. Hang on one second. And just going to shut down. I'm trying to minimize my speeds here. Okay. So let's get to the first one. Let's see if this works. I haven't tried this in a while. Hey, that worked. Okay, but you know what? Let's maybe make it a little bit more interesting. Let's do... Nope, not that one. Oh, there we go. I think I can leave the captions there. Okay. So what we're going to do here is create one. So like I said, I'm going to pull my trusty phone out. It's always in my pocket. I probably forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. I did. So really, this is the only device you need to get started. And actually, this is the only device you need because you can do all of this right from your phone. But so you can use this, you know, to take your quick little video. Or, you know, you can actually take a series of images too. So if you have a series of still images, there's a way to do that too. We're going to mainly focus on the video thing here, but we'll touch on the other. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your video, whether you're doing it from your phone or if you've got it, you know, on your desktop, that works too. I will put, of course. Hang on, my tablet died again. I don't know why. Just on this one machine, I can't get a decent tablet to work. So I'm going to put these links into the description. They're not there because I wanted to do some test driving today. So this is the first one. This is hnet.com video to GIF. Okay, so like I said, you can do images and turn them into GIFs, but we're going to focus on videos because that's the fun one that most people use. So all you're going to do is come in here and upload. Now, the one thing about this is a free one, so there is a limit to the file size of the video that you can upload that you're going to be using as your starting point. So you got to be under 300 megabytes. And that sounds big, but let me tell you, when you're working videos, it's really not. But we will be selective and use different ones here. So let me go in and we will... Sorry, I should have had that. Well, actually, this won't default to where I want it to because, you know, why should it? It's Windows. Okay, so I need to be able to look at it in file size, and that would be here. Nope, it would be here. Details. Actually, I should show you this. I'm sorry. So I'm a Windows girl. There's a way to do this on Mac too. Because we're talking about the file size issue, so you see right away, like I've got one here that's over 600. This one here is over the 300 size that they want. So we're going to have to go with something a little bit smaller. If you don't see it on Windows, you come over here and click on this little icon. It almost looks like a spreadsheet sort of. And yours may not look like dark mode. I set all the things I can to dark mode. But you can come in here and there's different ways, like you can see, you know, the icons and all that. But for the purposes of this, you're going to want to do details so that you can see details. So let's pick something smallish and say open. Okay, now it's going to take a second for this to upload. Look at the little, you know, ad because that's what's paying for this. Okay, so this is, it snowed here the other day, so I figured, what the heck, we'll do a quick video, right? So this is just a quick little video of snow, and you can click on it to make sure that it's going to work, right? So you're like, okay, you know, nice moment of zen kind of thing. So you can do some minor editing on this, okay? So you see here, like the start time is saying, you know, when it says 0, right? It's going to start right at the beginning, right? And then it's going to go for 3 seconds right now is what it's saying. So if you look here, you can see like it's counting down. So you can figure out like how many seconds you want to work with. Now the other thing is, let's say you don't really like the beginning of it. Let's say you really like where the snow starts to fall over here around 6 seconds. So you can start at 6 seconds, right? But then obviously you're going to want to pick an end time that's after that. Okay, now it's free, so that's why it's not doing this for you. You're going to have to, you know, do a little work here yourself. So, okay, so we're going to start at 6, and let me just go back because I was talking to you, so I didn't really notice. So, okay, so here to about 12, you know what, we'll go 13. Okay? Oops. So we'll say 13, okay? I'm going to leave the defaults here. You can, and you know, by the way, you don't have to type it in. You can just say current if you've got the pointer at the right spot. I'm just going to leave it at the default. You can make it smaller. Do not go bigger. You can always go smaller with these kinds of things and it'll still look okay. When you go bigger is when it starts to look jittery and pixelated and all that kind of stuff. So you do want to keep it so that you are, you know, focused there. So remember we were talking about the frames per second, right? So you kind of want to go between 15 and 24. So I'm going to keep it here at 20 like it suggested. which it said, okay, and then all I'm going to do is say convert now. You don't have to worry about these other ones. They're not really going to apply to you here. We're just talking about quick and easy. Now, again, it's going to take a few seconds for this to process. Yeah, so you see here, it's giving us a message, please wait a few seconds, and then it'll update, and it'll tell us when it's ready and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's a little bit of time involved in this, but once it's done, it's done. So now it's converting. See here, it says converting. We wait. I probably should have left the music on for this. And there we go. So now it's successfully converted. Now, if you want to test it before you download it to see maybe you want to go in and tweak it, you can go here and say view. And you can see that, okay, this works. It's snow coming down. It's a short little clip of it. I'm personally happy with this, so we'll just let that go. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say download. And you just download it to your computer. Once you have it downloaded to your computer, you can do whatever you want with it. It'll be ready to go. Let me just show in folder. Let me put it up here. I'll just show you what the file size looks like. Now, one tip I'm going to give you right here and now, we're kind of cutting in, I don't save all the tips for the end. We get into some of them right here. So this is the image that I just downloaded from that site, okay? And you see, of course, it's free. So they put their name in it and then the word image. For SEO reasons, you're going to want to put a unique name in it, maybe some reference to your brand, right? And something that identifies it, because that will help the overall SEO. So I'm going to say Snowfall, your tech coach. Doesn't take any time at all, but it does give you that little bit of extra. So you're going to want to think about that. Okay, so that's it. Let me see. Well, I did show it to you, but just to verify. We won't do this for all of them. So there we go. That's our little video. And you can now do whatever you want with it. What did I say the file size was? So the file size ended up being 23K. So this started out at, let me verify. Oh, I hate that my tablet isn't working. That's how I like to do things. Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me see what the original file size was. The original file size, survey says, is... Which one did I do? I did this one. So it was 127 megabytes. Okay, and now it's down to 22. Perfectly fine, perfectly reasonable size. You could even, because this is just a general thing, like you could even make it smaller, but hey, we're just playing here. So there we go. I apologize for the mouse sounds, but I gotta do what I gotta do here. Okay, let me come back here for a second while I get my windows back up. I have lots of monitors, can you tell? Okay, so there we go. So that was the first one. Which is hnet.com/video -to video GIF. And like I said, I will put all of these links into the description so you don't have to worry about writing them down. All right, are we ready to try one more? Here we go. This one is called, this is from Image Flip, IMG Flip, and it's Animated GIF Maker. Just different ways to do it. Sometimes maybe a UI speaks to you more, maybe you can't get into one because it's down for the moment or it's overloaded, whatever. So as I said, you got the video to GIF. You can also load up a bunch of individual images and then stitch them together into a GIF. So it's another way to do it. Another, if you're a Canva person, you can create different images, download them, put them in here, make a GIF out of them. By the way, while we're talking about that, let me just jump here for a second. While we are talking about Canva, the people out there who know me well are going to be saying, why is she not doing this in Canva? They do this. They actually don't create animated GIFs the way that we're doing here. You can do animation in Canva images, okay? And I've talked about that a little bit. I'm happy to go into it in more detail if you'd like. But just so you know, you can't really do this right now when I'm recording this, as of, they may add it tomorrow, but right now you can't create these kinds of animated GIFs that you can plug in anywhere using Canva yet. I have a feeling someday that'll show up there. So, okay, I just wanted to get that out there. because I know my people are going, how is she not using Canva? She uses it for everything. And you're right, I do love it. Okay, so like I said, you can do it with images. Again, we're going to stay with the video. And you can take, if you've got it like, online someplace, you can grab it. Or if you wanted to take your YouTube stuff, your Facebook stuff, and use that. I'm going to upload another one. Let's see. What's another one we can upload? Let's try this one. Okay. All right, so here we go. That was pretty darn quick. I'm kind of impressed. Now, I will say I'm on fiber, so if your internet upload is a little bit slower, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. So here we go. So we've got a video here. Now, this is one that definitely needs to be edited. Okay, this was just the dog playing. But there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't like. But you can kind of scrub through until you get to the point that you know that you do like. And then you can cut out the rest. So that's pretty much the end of what I wanted to show in this video. This is going to be a pretty short one. He was cute for like 2 seconds. All of this video, and it's about all that I got out of it. Okay, so you see, I've got a start point here that's listed. I can preview it. Okay, so this is just him being cute. It just amuses me. People who know me, like, this would be something good for me to put on my social or on my website, because I'm always talking about Mr. Murphy and his antics. He's asleep right now because, he doesn't have a job. So, this would be something fun, right? People who know me, know this, but also people who are just into dogs might get a kick out of it. He's playing with this thing called a giggle ball, which I was sure when I got it for him, he was going to hate because it makes noises and he's not a fan of noises, but just because he's contrary, it's turned into his favorite thing, to the point where, like, I have to physically take it away because he will, like, overexert himself playing with it. Okay, so you see here, it's got my start, I didn't have to put the numbers in, it just did it for me, and all I did was move these little triangles until the point that I liked it. And really, I can even trim it down a little bit more. The beginning's kind of meh, but I'm going to leave it just because we're doing this. So it's showing me some information here. It's going to, 15 frames per second, which is okay. You want to keep it above 10, so that's good. It's going to show how long it is, how many frames it is. We're under 100, so that's it's a really good file size. I'm going to be fairly small. I've got my options up here for the width. It defaulted to 36. I think I'm going to keep it there. But this is where I had talked about the fact that there are some cases where you might want to kick in a little money. So for free, it's making the choices for me. For $10 a month, I can get more into it. Guess what? I'm fine with the defaults. I'm perfectly content with that. Okay, so again, you're going to put a little bit of, thought into the title for it, because this is going to be the file name. So we're going to call it Murphy Plays Giggle Ball. Why am I doing that? Because other dog owners, no Giggle Ball, they might search for that. Okay, it's a GIF. It's perfectly safe for work, so it's fine. I'm not worried about private now because I'm not paying them. Okay, there's going to be a watermark on this. So this is something that you have to balance out. When you're looking at these different options, keep an eye out. If you don't want somebody else's watermark on it, but you don't want to pay for it, then this is not a good choice. The other one is a better choice. If you don't care about the watermark, then you're good to go. If you really like this tool and you don't want the watermark, you're going to have to cough up. Here's a tip. You can pay for a month and then stop paying. If you're going to do that, maybe plan out a bunch of videos to create in that month, and then for $10, if you do 30 little GIFs, because they don't take long to do, that might be worth it to you, right? The ROI on that, not so bad. So just something to think about, just putting it out there. See, Lyle, unfortunately, something went wrong with my YouTube today, so I can't bring up your comment, but I will read it. So Lyle was saying he was just about to ask about Canva because he knows my love of Canva. So that's why I figured I should address that for anybody out there who's thinking about it. So that's the difference here is, I'm going to say fine for the watermark because we're just demoing here. If I was really, going to use this, and I do kind of like this interface, to be honest, it gives me, a good level of control, and it gives me good data feedback. I would probably plan out a bunch of videos, pay them $10, and do them, over a month, and then stop paying. So you come here, you say generate, and again, it's going to take a little bit of time. depending on the size, what you're doing, the complexity. Also, your internet speed will have an impact on that. But then it will come, okay? And then it gives you, you can immediately, right from here, send it to your socials. You can get a link that you can repurpose. You can get the embed code. So you don't even have to understand how to embed this into your web page, into your emails, that type of thing, because it will give you the code. You can just copy and paste it, or copy and email it to the person who maintains that stuff for you. It's really easy. Or you can download it as an MP4, but of course we're talking GIFs right now, so I'm going to download it as a GIF. And it will come down. And let me just come over here and grab it. And put it into my little demo folder so that we can look at it again. Okay, so so you can go to image page, you can make another. We're good with this for now, so I'll just say make another so it goes away. So here, right here is the file we just created. So this is 5 meg, right, from a file. I don't remember which one I picked. I think it was this one. So the file started out at 380 megabytes, and it is down to 5, and it's Murphy doing his thing. Right? Easy peasy, kind of fun. All right, so let's go back. And I'm going to show you one more, and this is the one that most of you have probably heard of, right? This is the one that is kind of the big name in the industry. And what's really cool is not only are they there to share, they are also there to let you create these. Bonus. And that is, of course, Giphy, right? We all love Giphy. And like I said, I will put these into the links into the descriptions. So not only in Giphy can you create, right? If you go here, you've all seen this, right? All kinds of stuff to choose from. Okay? This is where you can actually create. And, they are who they are, right? They've got a pretty cool UI. Now, they do recommend that you create an account, so you would probably log in to do this. We're going to try it without and see what happens. I may have to create a quick account on the fly. So you can probably just drag. So I'm going to grab a bigger one here. Okay. Oh, it's too big. Oh, they want under 100 too. Okay, so I'm surprised at that. See, I didn't test this one because I figured, damn, no problem. Under 100. Okay, let's try this one. Yeah, got to create an account. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to create a quick account. I'm just taking the screen down because I never know what they're going to ask for. So let's find out. Oh, it's pretty easy, actually. So it's email, username, and a password, which I don't want to share, so I will stay away from it, right? Okay. Have to say I'm not a robot. Actually, here, I can show you this now. Okay, see, it's pretty simple. To create the account, email, you need to create an ID and to go down. Hopefully it doesn't force me to verify before we can go forward. No, it looks like we're good. Okay. All right, so let's try it again. So does it still, let's see after you create the account if it'll let you give it a bigger file. We will talk about in a second in the tips about if it's a bigger file and you have a problem. Okay, so they require you, so you may need to do some pre-processing if you want to use Giphy, and I will talk about that in the tips in a minute. But for now, let me just grab, I've got one that's smaller. Where did I put that? I think this will work. I also did some tests. I don't know if this is a test file or not. Okay. So we have this video here, right? This is something that somebody gave me, but you want to trim it down a little bit because I'm using this as an example. Like, let's say that you sell custom mugs, right? And so you want to show the mug. So I'm going to take down the duration a little bit. And you see, as I'm moving this, right? I'm going to go a little bit faster. As I move this bar, it's showing me how much is going to show. So I'm going to take it to just about there and leave a little bit to the imagination, right? So this is an example of the kind of thing that you can do where you're going to take it and you're going to maybe show off some of your product, right? Show off some of your service stuff. So now we're going to keep going, right? Now, this is the thing that will make any pre-processing you might have to do worth it, because in this one, they make it easy to add text. Now, there's other ways to add text to these, and I'll cover that a little bit in the tips in a minute, but the cool thing here is that they'll let you do it right in the tool. So it might be worth the price of a little bit of prep time for your video in order to get this benefit out of it. So for example, let's say that, you want to put some text on it. And you can rearrange, right? Maybe I want to spice that up a little bit more. You can change the font, right? Maybe don't use that if it's something that you really want people to read. But here, so maybe I'll do that kind of meme one, right? And there's no animation, or you can add animation, right? I wonder if you can add more than one. No, you can only do one? Okay, that's fair enough. You can also search for stickers that you can add to it. Oh, it didn't find any. Maybe that's because my account hasn't been verified yet. That's possible. Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. That was working before, but okay. You can add filters to it. They take a minute to load because, you can also just draw on it. So right, because we love doggies here. So obviously you don't want to get too carried away with this kind of stuff, but you can do extra stuff here that you couldn't do in those other ones. There's ways to use those other ones and still do this kind of thing, but 6 1/2 dozen of the other. So we've got all this. We're like, okay, I'm being a little extreme here right now, but you get the feel for the fact that you can do more here than we could in the other ones. And then if you don't like it, you can click start over and clean it up and be ready to go. But we're going to continue to go. Enter text and a source for your GIF. I wonder if this means, let's try this, a source URL. So let's say, right, and say, here's a tag, here's a tag. Okay, now what's happening here, and one of the things I wanted to talk about, let's just come back here for a second. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is when you do it in Giphy, you actually get a benefit out of it, in that you're actually going to be able to upload it to their service, which means that you can use it in lots of different places. And you have the choice of making it available to the public so other people can find it and use it, or you can mark it private so only you can use it. Huge benefit, right? Because jumping into Giphy is actually in a lot of keyboards now on different devices. So this just makes it really easy. Like you can put keywords in, tags, that have like your brand name in it or something unique, so that you can quickly go in and find the ones you created, and you've got them accessible wherever you are. So if you're the kind of person that on the fly likes to go and do, hey Stacy, how you doing? If you're the kind of person like Stacy, okay, so Stacy takes us whale watching sometimes when she goes out, and maybe while she's doing an IRL in real life stream with the whale watching, maybe she decides also to jump on Instagram and take a picture and post something up. So she could ahead of time create some GIFs and then add them to her social media while she's standing there watching or waiting for the whale to come up again. Breach the water, is that the word? And put her own personal touch on it while she's standing at the shoreline or on a boat waiting for the whales. So it's a little bit of prep work, but once you've got it there, it completely speeds up your whole social media on the fly posting kind of thing, right? Hey, I got the term right. Woohoo! Go me. Okay, so let's go back here. Nope, wrong one. So I've got this. So now I'm going, and you see, it's telling you that you are giving them permission, right? I'm going to make this, normally I would just do it public for most of my stuff, but I'm going to say private because this is garbage, but I'm just doing this to demo. And so I'm going to say upload. And again, it's going to take a couple of seconds for it to do its thing. Creating. It's not too bad here. And then it'll give you information. But I'm guessing it's probably going to give us a link. I actually had to bail because it was showtime. So I was testing this and I was like, okay. Oh, there was an error uploading. Well, because you know what? That's how my life goes. We'll try one more time. It's going to happen when you're using online tools, browser-based tools. It's going to fail sometimes. That's just life. You just got to roll with it. And if it doesn't work, it's fine, because really I shouldn't be crapping up their servers with my bad examples, but it's kind of fun. Who knows? I might use this on social later. It could happen. Come on, you're almost there. Come on, you can do this. Maybe. It looks like it's going to fail again. We'll give it a second. I think it's going to fail again. Okay, so this is what you do. I mean, maybe I put too many things on it. Maybe it's just having a bad moment. There have been some internet outages in my area, so that might be part of the problem too. Stacy's going to totally play with this. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing, again, that it may not be first and foremost in a lot of business owners' minds, but the reason I do these videos is because, yeah, it failed again. Okay, that's just me. That's just how my day's gone. The reason I do these videos is to try to help spark some ideas that maybe you haven't considered before for your business, because it's these little things that can make your business stand out. And really, it doesn't cost anything, right? A little bit of time, maybe, or if you're going to use one of the paid versions, a little bit of money, but it's not a ton. And it's the kind of thing that actually you could outsource to somebody on your team or your kid or, a neighbor, so don't feel like, oh my God, I can't do one more thing. There's probably somebody who's willing to help. Just, reach out and get them to help you. I keep losing my captioning. I had to rebuild some stuff, so I'm thinking some of my settings aren't right. We'll fix that. But the idea is that so Stacey says she's been using Procreate for GIFs, but that's for bigger productions. Right. And so the whole point here was I wanted to show quick and easy things that you literally could do just from your phone. There are, of course, other options, right? So let's get into the tips thing. So we're going to talk about some tips. The variety of ways that you can create these is almost endless, right? So we talked about, so the examples I've done have focused on video because that's how most people are going to do it from their phone, right? Something funny is going to happen. Their dog's going to do something cute. They decide, oh, hey, the new product came in. Maybe let's do a quick little, 20-second video and cut it down to make it a GIF. That's why I focus on that. But you can, as I mentioned, as we went through this, you can take static images and, just decide what order you want them in, stitch them together in one of these tools, and do it that way. You can use a tool if you do any kind of basic video editing, right? All of those will let you take a clip and do something, or you can combine, like if you're using even most basic video editor, and there's online free ones and there's online cheap ones. There are ones that you can do from your phone, which I'm playing with more and more and finding really helpful. You can then take the video, cut it down, rearrange things, and then maybe add some still stuff in, right, before and after or during it, to kind of change the pace, change the messaging of it a little bit more. If you are comfortable at all with tools like, Canva or Photoshop will actually output GIFs. Like I said, Canva right now doesn't. But the point is, you probably have something that you're already using for quick and dirty editing that will let you do it. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy a new tool. If you want to, that's fine. I understand I like playing with new tools also, but you don't have to. Or like I said, you can just go and use one of these free things. I will put the links into the description. But don't feel like this has got to be a big deal. Don't feel that this has got to be a big expense. It absolutely doesn't, right? And it doesn't actually have to take up a lot of time. But once you do something like this, and if you do something in particular, like with the Giphy, you can do it. You can use it anywhere. Even if you don't use Giphy, like just once you have the file, you could put it out on a Google Drive or OneDrive or wherever, and still have it available to you when you're out and about, if that's important to you. For me, most of my stuff that I do, I'm doing from the computer, so I would just download it to the computer and use it there. So there's all that. Okay, so let's get into some other stuff. So some other tips, right? One of the big selling things for me, one of the reasons most of the people that I work with end up doing this, when I bring it up, usually they're like, no, I don't care. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. That's not my market, blah, blah, blah. I let it go. then we start talking about their emails and what they're doing with them, and they frustration around your limitations in email today, which drives me crazy. I mean, I can't believe it's 2021 and we still can't do real HTML in email, but I'll save that rant for another day. People want to put maybe videos in, they want to do something. Well, guess what? GIFs are a great way to get around a lot of limitations in email. So that's usually for my clients. No, I don't want to do this. This is usually that chink in the armor that gets them doing it. And it you know what these things are like, right? They're like potato chips. You can't have one. Once they start doing that, then the creative ideas start to pop, and then they start doing them in other places. So that may be the way to go. So definitely, these are great for email. It's a great solution for the fact that we can't do what we want to do. But not every client will support the GIF, but that's okay. You can still make it work for you. Just as an example, no surprise to anybody, the ones that really don't work with it well right now, Outlook. Hey, what a surprise. Microsoft doesn't play well in the sandbox with everybody else. Yeah, typical. But here's the trick. To make your GIF work well in all email without having to do any jerking around, without having to stress over it, make use of the first frame. Because if something like Outlook won't play the GIF, it will display the first frame. So put your URL, put your call to action in that first frame, and they'll still see it. And the rest of the world will see the beauty and glory of your GIF or GIF. But either way, you're good, and you've got your message across. So you've won without any extra effort, right? Yeah, Outlook. Outlook is... Stacey says, you had email issues today, didn't think of it. See? This is what we're here for. This is why I'm here, because I come across these things because I work with a lot of different people, and then I share them with you. So yeah, it is the way to go. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's GIF. But I'm not going to get into it. Okay, so the other tip I have for you as far as these is, so people go from one extreme to the other. They're like, nope, don't want to do it ever, to I'm using it everywhere. Okay, so you want to shoot up the middle. Okay, don't overuse it. Don't be super aggressive with it. Think of it as a seasoning, right? So Stacey does all kinds of amazing cooking. It's a seasoning, right? It's not the main meat. You don't want it everywhere. But you do want to sprinkle it throughout all of your stuff, your emails, your website, your social media, share. Put it on play. If you've got something that's cute, that's, a little more generic, share it on a site like Giphy so that other people share it. Branch out, think about it that way. Also, and that this is near and dear to my heart, right? And I'm sure a lot of people don't want to hear it, but yeah, right. You don't want to overcook it. Thank you, Stacey. That's perfect. See, it's a bad day for YouTube comments to not be working because this is good stuff. Accessibility. Okay. So I'm taking I guess a seminar. It's a 3-day course. And as tends to happen, I'm getting annoyed because they're doing such a massive fail on accessibility. Now, the thing is, I don't need it, but I am very sensitive to it because of reasons. So it drives me crazy that, they keep kind of ranting at people, well, you got to read the homepage, all the information's there. Well, that's great. All the information's there, but it's in light gray type, really thin and wispy, with a very complicated image behind it, and it's got the movable scrolling thing on it. So, I mean, I can see and I can comprehend, and I don't have, information processing issues. And I finally went in because I know how to go into the page code and turn off the background, which made it much easier. But, they're ranting at people that you're not reading the information, and they've presented the information in a way that you can't read it. So accessibility also applies with the GIFs, right? So you want to make sure that you're not doing something that's flashing at people that might actually trigger seizures. Right, that happens a lot with anime. They'll do a flashing sequence, and people will actually be damaged by that. So you want to stay out of the 2 hertz to 55 hertz range, because that's the kind of thing that causes a problem. Like with my example with my sparkly, text here. Actually, I still have this up. This would be really not a good. This would be a terrible accessibility thing as far as the text goes in that upper corner there. Oops, that way. The sparkly text is not a good choice because it would be very hard for somebody to read. So that's something else to think about. Yeah, it kind of looks cool, but if you're making it hard for somebody to read, you're not really helping them. So do think about that kind of stuff. there's some other things that you can do if you really get into, like, if you hire somebody to do it. Let's put it this way: if you hire somebody to do it, there are things that they can put into the metadata. And please, you don't have to understand this, but if you can have whoever you hire, listen to this part of it, and they'll understand. So they can put stuff into the metadata that will make it, better for SEO, but it also might help some of the screen reader kind of stuff. There's other assistive technology data that they can provide that will make it easier for people with all kinds of disabilities. So it's a good way to think about it. You want to be sensitive, with the images that you're using, that type of thing. So, a lot of this is common sense, but people don't always think about it because you're thinking about 10,000 other things. So that's why it's my job to keep bringing up accessibility to the world. The other thing, which I had mentioned, but I do just want to revisit here, and that is file size. So keeping it as short, minimum frames, all that kind of stuff will reduce the number of reduce the file size, which will make it work better in all these different places. So let's talk about, just real quick, if you need to do some pre-processing. So, like, let's say you're looking at Giphy and you're like, there's so much I love about it, but all of my videos are over 100 meg. So that's when you're going to go maybe to an online site and edit out the parts that you don't want in the video. Like, every one that I started with, was 100 or more. One of them was 609 megabytes, which I didn't even actually end up using here. That's the whole video that I created, right? I really only want like 8 seconds of it. So the way that you can get around that issue that we were running into with some of the free sites is to go ahead and pre-edit that, right? So again, use one of the free online tools to just edit out that piece, download it as an MP4, and then you can put it into whatever tool. Or if you have, Camtasia or whatever tool you like to do video editing in, you can totally do that. You can also create the GIF there if you want. So that's just something else, to keep in mind. Like, if you find one of these tools and you're like, I love this, but everything's too big, spend the extra couple of seconds to do the pre-edit, save that down to your computer, and then you can go ahead and throw it into your favorite tool and not have to fight with the issue. Sound good? All right, so that, I think, is everything I have. Let me just double check my notes. Oh, okay, so there's one other little tip. People used to seriously stress out over the canvas size. So what that means, the physical size of the image. So, was it square? Was it a rectangle? How big it was? It's less of an issue now. There's a lot more variety out there, as you've probably seen in the GIFs. But if you are looking for just general rule of thumb, you want to shoot for somewhere between 300 by 250 pixels up to 728 by 90. Those are just generally popular sizes. Not that you can't go bigger or smaller. I'm just saying in general, those are the sizes that you are seeing in the most popular ones. So if you want to shoot for something like that, that's the way to go. And that's what I have for you. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you would like to stay up to date, and if you'd like to know what content is coming, you are more than welcome to join the mailing list. I don't sell it to anybody. You're not getting any advertisements from anybody in it. It's strictly a way for me to communicate with you about what's going on and what's coming up. So you can go to yourtechcoach/mailing list to join that. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have a question, a comment, if you have a topic you want me to cover, please feel free to reach out. That's where all the good shows come from. So you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to go to yourtechcoach.net. There is a contact form there. Just let me know what your question is, what topic you want me to cover, what problem you're facing. I'm more than happy to turn that into a show. If you need a fast answer, that's totally fine too. Let me know that in the comment that you send me, and let me know how to get back in touch with you, and I will absolutely reach out to you. Okay? Thank you all for coming to hang out. Thank you for coming to hang out, Stacy and Lyle and everybody else who's come to play. Like I said, a little bit later, after I feed the puppy because he's hungry and giving me that look, I will go ahead and I will put these links into the description for you so that you can go and check these out for yourself. Also, if you like this topic and you'd like to go deeper with it, if you'd like to see how to do this in other, tools like, Camtasia or whatever, just let me know. More than happy to do that for you. Otherwise, we'll have something new and exciting next week. I'm here every Thursday at 8 p.m. I hope you're having a good week, and we will talk again soon. Bye.